If your business, or maybe even, your personal professional service, were to just vanish tomorrow, would anyone genuinely mourn the loss?
Hmm.
Or would your customers simply shrug, pull up Google, and switch to the next, maybe slightly cheaper, slightly better competitor?
That is such a brutal question. It's the ultimate litmus test for relevance, and it gets right to the heart of our mission
It
today.
really does.
Because if the answer is they'd shrug, you are in a very, very dangerous place, regardless of how good your product might seem right now.
Absolutely. So today we are doing a deep dive into the concept of radical differentiation, and we're pulling the core strategic lessons from the work of branding legend Marty Neumeier.
Specifically his book, ZAG, an absolute classic.
It is. I mean, Neumeier has worked with giants like Apple, Google, and his thesis is just brutally simple. When everyone else zigs, when everyone copies the conventional move, you must zag.
And this is not a subtle suggestion at all. Neumeier draws a really firm line here. Zagging is not about, incremental improvement.
Right, not about being just a little better.
Exactly. Being slightly better, a 10% faster service, maybe 5% cheaper pricing, is, in his words, basically invisible to the customer.
Yeah.
The goal has to be radically, obviously, and unmistakably different.
That distinction is everything, because if you are even a little bit comparable to a competitor,
Yeah.
you're still playing in their sandbox,
You are. And the entire strategic purpose of this radical difference is to achieve something incredibly valuable.
Which is pricing power.
Exactly, pricing power. It means you get to dictate the price because you have moved completely beyond comparison.
Okay, so if you're stuck being compared on features or quality,
Then you're instantly competing on cost. It's inevitable. The success of a true ZAG is that you escape the gravity of that commodity competition entirely.
so you're no longer better, you are just structurally, fundamentally different.
Yes, and that difference is the only sustainable basis for premium pricing.
So we have 4 core, sort of non-negotiable principles from Neumeier that unlock this. Let's start with the foundational one, the mindset shift. Principle 1, when everyone zigs, zag.
This is such a deep behavioral challenge for most business leaders. You have to literally force yourself to look at the industry standard, the status quo, and then actively choose the dramatic opposite.
Right.
We're not talking about a small innovation here. We're talking about a counterintuitive, almost counter-market move.
And what makes this so difficult, I think, is that our natural instinct, especially when you're starting something new, is to model success.
Of course.
You see a successful competitor, and you immediately feel safer trying to replicate their processes, their customer service, their features.
That psychological safety is a massive trap. Businesses see their competitor offering 24/7 support. So what do?
They add it.
They add it.
Yeah.
They see a rival offering free shipping, so they adopt it. They look at industry standards for guarantees and they just match them.
And that race to just match the highest bar that's set by everyone else, what's the end result of that?
It creates sameness. Neumeier calls it comparison hell.
Comparison hell. I like that.
Yeah. And when the market reaches that equilibrium, where every player offers similar quality, similar features, similar service, the customer only has one logical tiebreaker left.
Price.
You get lumped into a commodity category, and you forfeit any ability to command a premium. You've lost the battle before the customer even walks in the door.
Let's use the source material's simple, but I think brilliant example, the coffee shop. This shows how the zig actually creates that comparison hell.
Right. So think about the conventional approach, the industry standard. The zig is that high-end artisan coffee shop.
Comfortable seating, good Wi-Fi.
Attractive design, complex loyalty programs, a dozen fancy syrup options. You're aiming for the best possible experience.
But if there are 5 similar shops on the same block, they all look amazing, they all smell great, they all have Wi-Fi, you're now competing on who has the fastest internet or the coolest playlist.
Exactly. Now, the ZAG is the dramatic opposite. You strip away every single element of that conventional coffee shop experience.
So what does that look like?
You offer no seating, no Wi-Fi,
Right.
no complex menu, just a walk-up window. Your single focus is on speed, guaranteeing high-quality coffee in under 90 seconds.
Wow. So you've just shifted the perceived value completely. You're no longer selling a place to sit and work.
Yep.
You're selling convenience and time back to a commuter who is in a rush.
The sit-down cafes are now completely incomparable to you. When a customer needs a fast quality coffee and just cannot wait in a long line, you are the only functional option for that specific need.
You've achieved incomparability.
And you can charge a premium for the time you save them. It's an entirely different business model using the exact same core product.
That leads perfectly into the next question, which is where you should actually aim that dramatic opposition. And that brings us to principle 2. Find the white space.
Ah, the white space. This is the golden ticket. It's the unserved market segment, the unmet need, or the approach nobody is daring to take.
And to be clear,
Yeah, I want to be very clear. White space doesn't mean no customers. It means no competition.
the natural tendency is to chase the crowded middle, right? Everyone sees where the money currently is, so they build their business to service that largest possible pool of people.
And Neumeier argues that is a death trap. That middle is saturated. Any marginal difference you create is swallowed up instantly. The successful strategy is to look at the edges, the underserved extremes.
That's where the profits are.
That is where genuine, uncontested profits live.
But I have to push back a bit here because this feels incredibly risky. If you're intentionally moving away from that big conventional market, the 80% isn't the risk that you just invent a market that doesn't exist, or you shrink it so much you starve your business.
That's the tension. That's what makes zagging hard. It feels riskier to go to the edge, but Neumeier's point is that it is, paradoxically, less risky than fighting for scraps in the overcrowded center.
Okay, so how do you find it?
The key is in deeply analyzing the pain points of that mainstream market.
So we're looking for a problem that 80% of the current solutions are actively ignoring.
Precisely. Take the fitness business. The conventional approach, the crowded space, is what? Gym memberships, personal trainers, high-intensity group classes.
Right.
But if you analyze the market, you realize there's this huge, high-value segment, new parents, specifically new moms, who have a fitness need but are structurally blocked from traditional solutions.
Because they can't leave their baby.
Exactly. That's your white space. And the ZAG moves in to own it completely, not by being a better gym, but by being a fundamentally different solution.
So the ZAG business isn't a facility at all.
Not at all. It's a specialized service. We offer 30-minute in-home workouts. We bring the equipment, and the entire structure is built around safe, supervised play for your baby nearby.
They own that segment because traditional fitness businesses just can't replicate that core convenience.
It's impossible for them.
The graphic design example from the book is another perfect illustration of this radical narrowness. The conventional designer, they take on all comers.
Yeah, logos, websites, branding, corporate work, they're a jack of all trades.
But the white space ZAG says, what?
The ZAG says, we only design for breweries.
That's it.
That's it. They refuse corporate contracts, they decline e-commerce sites, they focus solely on beer culture, taproom aesthetics, and craft beverage branding.
By being so narrow, they become the absolute authority in the mind of a brewery owner.
Of course. Why would a brewery hire a generalist when they could hire the specialist who lives and breathes their industry?
That is the critical shift. The willingness to say no to the majority of potential clients is what makes you the definitive yes for the high-value client you do want.
I mean, trying to serve everyone means you are nobody's first choice. Owning a small, specific category completely is infinitely better than owning a microscopic share of a massive, crowded market.
Okay, so once you've located that defensible white space and decided on your counter move, we hit what I think is maybe the hardest principle for entrepreneurs to swallow. Principle 3. Focus on one radical difference.
This is where most well-intentioned businesses just dilute their own power. Neumeier is so emphatic about this. You cannot differentiate on multiple vectors. 3 differences is too many.
And 10 is?
10 is guaranteed invisibility.
We naturally think that adding more benefits makes us more appealing, right? We're faster and cheaper and higher quality and more ethical. Why does the human brain struggle with processing all of that?
Because the customer's mind operates on mental shortcuts. It has to. If you give them a laundry list of benefits, they suffer from decision paralysis and they end up remembering none of them.
Or they just average it all out.
They do. They need a single, clear hook to categorize you.
That singular focus becomes the memorable, referable phrase. When someone asks for a recommendation, they need a clean mental category.
Exactly. Oh, they're the ones who offer the lifetime guarantee, or they're the ones who promise delivery in under 10 minutes.
That simplicity is amplification.
It is. Let's look at the online education example. The conventional online course, the diluted approach, offers video lessons, PDF downloads, a community forum, live Q&As, a certificate.
It's a standard, kind of overwhelming package.
Totally. The ZAG course cuts through all that noise by focusing on one radical, high-stakes difference.
And that difference is?
The financial guarantee. Finish the course. If you don't get hired in your desired field within 90 days, you get a full, no questions asked refund.
Wow. Okay, that one promise instantly signals intense confidence in the product.
And it puts all the risks squarely on the course provider.
Right.
That one guarantee redefines the entire platform. That promise of risk elimination is what people talk about. It makes the course inherently referable and creates a huge structural barrier for competitors who just can't afford to offer that same promise.
So it's not just a feature, it's the core of the business model.
Absolutely. Or take web hosting. Instead of listing generic speeds and security metrics, the radical difference could be complete total transparency.
As in,
We are the only host that provides a real-time performance dashboard of every single server we operate. Zero hidden data. Transparency because it's the single owned concept.
I see. So listing 20 benefits results in this bland, generic excellence that just gets forgotten.
It does. But focusing on one high-value radical difference ensures you own that concept completely in the customer's mind. And that's what drives pricing power and loyalty.
And to make that one difference unmissable, we need principle 4. Be extreme, not average.
This is where the commitment to the ZAG becomes unavoidable. The vast majority of businesses, they gravitate toward the safe middle.
Middle quality, middle pricing, middle service, they just want to be broadly acceptable.
And Neumeier is adamant.
Yeah.
The middle is actually the most dangerous place to be
Why?
because it leads inevitably to invisibility. The extremes are where businesses thrive and become memorable.
We remember businesses precisely because they are extreme in one dimension, don't we? Walmart is extremely low price.
Porsche's extremely high performance.
In-N-Out is extremely simple and focused. And Cheesecake Factory is, conversely, extremely broad in its menu.
They all lean into an extreme position. The extremes stick in our memory. The middle just dissolves.
So going extreme means you are intentionally polarizing the market.
Yes, and you have to be okay with that. You will not appeal to everyone, and that is a required feature of the strategy, not a bug.
Deep appeal to a narrow segment beats shallow appeal to the entire market.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And that polarization makes your marketing simple because your difference is screamingly obvious.
Let's revisit that highly specialized copywriter we mentioned earlier and really flesh out the extreme pricing model this allows.
Okay, so the average invisible copywriter tries to be flexible and fair. They're writing blog posts, website copy, sales emails for a standard hourly rate.
And they are immediately lost in a sea of providers.
Instantly, the extreme copywriter commits to the extreme opposite. They declare, I write only email subject lines. That is it.
That's all they do.
I charge $500 per subject line, minimum batch of 5, and I boast an audited open rate consistently above 40%.
That is an extremely narrow focus tied to an extremely high price.
Linked to an extremely specific high-value result. Are they for every business? Absolutely not. But for the enterprise willing to pay $2.5 grand to solve the specific high-stakes problem of email engagement.
They are the obvious, non-comparable expert. Their extreme focus justifies the extreme premium.
It does. And this translates easily to service or experience industries. The average restaurant tries to appeal with good variety and fair prices.
Extreme restaurant.
Serves only one single dish each night. No menu, no choices, just that one dish perfected.
That extreme limitation creates this intense, unique, polarizing experience.
People either completely understand the appeal of that dedicated, perfected focus, or they just don't get it and they stay away. But for those who crave that specific, limited experience, there's only one option: the extreme ZAG.
So, if you're listening and feeling a pull toward one of these extreme positions, or maybe a sense of deep discomfort when we talk about saying no to potential customers.
Neumeier says that discomfort is your compass pointing you toward the white space.
Yes.
And we want to give you something concrete to act on immediately. This is the 5-minute ZAG exercise from the source material, and you can do it right now to identify your most potent hidden differentiator.
All right, first, open a blank document or just pull out a sheet of paper. Second, draw a vertical line down the middle. Label the left side the conventional approach. Leave the right side blank for now.
Step 3. List 5 to 7 common industry practices, the conventional moves, the ZIGs. Think of pricing, operations, your target customer, marketing. Get specific. If everyone uses annual contracts, write that down.
Okay, step 4. On the right side, write the precise dramatic opposite for each item you listed. If everyone charges hourly, write mandatory flat fee.
Or if everyone targets huge enterprises, write only micro businesses. If everyone offers unlimited customization, write to one single non-negotiable solution.
And finally, step 5. This is the key.
It is. Circle the opposite on the right. The ZAG that feels the most impractical, or maybe the most uncomfortable to even consider. That is where your biggest potential strategic difference lies. because it's the move your competitors are also afraid to make.
That exercise is so powerful because it forces us to confront our ingrained business instincts.
Which Neumeier argues are fundamentally wrong when it comes to achieving true differentiation.
Right.
I mean, that is the core summary of this entire deep dive. Your natural instinct is to copy successful competitors. Neumeier says, do the opposite.
Your natural instinct is to appeal to as many customers as possible.
And Neumeier says, find the white space and own it completely.
Your natural instinct is to differentiate on multiple dimensions to increase your appeal.
Neumeier says, pick one single radical difference and amplify it until it's deafening.
And your natural instinct is to stay safe and acceptable in the middle.
And Neumeier says, the profits live at the extremes, and you must polarize the market to survive.
So if you take away only one phrase from this deep dive, remember this. Being slightly better is invisible. Being radically different is the only strategy that creates pricing power and sustainable growth.
Don't chase better. Chase the uncomfortable radical opposite.
The white space is waiting, but it does require courage to step into it. So we'll leave you with this final provocative thought. If zagging requires you to go to an extreme, and that extreme means you must intentionally turn some people off, what is the single biggest risk or discomfort you are currently avoiding that, if embraced fully, could become the radical, singular difference that defines your business? Sustainable growth starts the moment you choose that discomfort.